Hello, I'm Simone Jackson, and I am a certified lymphedema therapist, and I am here to show you how to self bandage on your right upper extremity. So, we want to make sure we have all of our supplies, such as a stockinette, hopefully with a thumb hole cut out, have 2 rolls of gauze for the fingers, a roll of 6-inch and 8-inch wrapping, and 2 rolls of 10-inch wrapping. And depending on the size of your arm, you may or may not need all of these supplies. You will also need some cotton batting or soft wrapping to go underneath the bandage, and also a pH neutral lotion and masking tape or silk tape to secure the bandage. So again, starting on the right arm, after you have performed your self-massage or self-MLD, we're going to take our pH neutral lotion and apply it to the skin. It is best to start from the hands and work your way up to keep the movement of the lymph fluid heading up towards the healthy nodules. We're going to apply our stockinette and make sure that it is smooth and has an opening for our thumb. Please do not use regular ACE bandages because they have a different stretch. Once your sleeve is applied, pull the fingers out and pull it up the forearm so that the fingers and the hand is exposed. We're going to start with the soft gauze to wrap each finger to prevent swelling from coming down the arm into the fingers. You want to roll your tape lying away from you and not over. And you want to make sure that your gauze or wrapping is tightly wrapped. So starting on the outside of the wrist at a slight angle, you're going to wrap your gauze around and anchor it to itself with little tension. And coming over the back side of the hand, you can start at the index or the pinky finger. You're going to wrap the gauze around and come back across the back side of the hand. Please be very mindful to have as few wrinkles in the gauze as possible to prevent the formation of blisters. Also, we are not pulling the tape or the gauze tightly. We are simply laying the gauze around each finger and around the backside. It is quite possible you may need 2 or 3 rolls to complete the fingers. Making sure that you are not covering the fingertips, but starting right below the fingernail bed. And continue until the tape is rolled. Now you will take your cotton batting after making sure your fingers are able to move. We're going to apply our 10 centimeter padding starting at the wrist, stockinette back down and over the fingers, applying the thumb through the loop. Again, we want the gauze to roll off and not over. So starting at the wrist, then wrapping the padding around and securing the padding on itself. We bring the padding around the palm, across the first set of knuckles, and back around the wrist. This can be done 2 to 3 times to increase the size of the hand and wrist to the size of the rest of the arm. Our goal is to make a column that is the same width from hand up to the armpit. Continue to wrap your padding around the hand and the wrist until all of your gauze is used coming up the arm. Again, depending on the size of your arm, you may need 2 to 3 rolls of padding. Make sure that the knuckles are visible and available. Take your second roll of padding and apply it going in the opposite direction as the last roll. Continuing up the arm towards the elbow with equal spacing in between, or using a 50% overlap with each turn. Once you come to the elbow, you want to fold your padding back across itself, and then your roll will be flipped, and allow that to finish to completion. You may drop your roll multiple times. It is a tricky task to do, but you are capable. So just take a few moments and roll it back up and continue with your wrapping. It is very important to put the fold in the elbow crease so that you are able to bend your elbow. Roll your padding all the way up until it is at the top of the arm into the armpit. Now we will start with our 6 centimeter short stretch bandage and begin at the wrist. Always letting the tape roll under versus over. Starting at a slight angle, we're going to wrap the tape around and anchor it to itself. And this is where we will begin using moderate tension. It is best to apply tension as you are coming down or as you are coming up the sides of the arm. As you wrap the wrist, come down across the hand in between the thumb and the forefingers, keeping the fingers spread wide to make space. Cover the entire hand, including the knuckles, while you apply several circular turns around the hand. Keep the fingers open and extended. This may be easier to do with your hand propped along a table or a firm surface. And again, the bandages are slippery. It's okay if they come away from you. Maintaining that moderate pressure, continue to wrap the bandage up the forearm with the remaining bandage. Do not stop or end your bandages on the hand. Make sure to come up the wrist, and onto the forearm. Do your best to maintain the same amount of tension throughout. Next, we're going to take our 8 centimeter short stretch bandage, beginning again at the wrist, going in the opposite direction as your last roll of tape ended. Cover the entire forearm with the second bandage and make a fist while doing it to keep the forearm muscles tight. Overlap the last turn by about 2/3. It's important to keep the spacing between the bandages even. When you come to the elbow crease, this is where you would make a figure 8 with no tension, bringing the bandage up the front or the inside of the arm and coming down the inside of the arm with no tension. After that single figure 8, you're going to continue wrapping in a circular motion with tension applied. Again, depending on the size of your swelling, this may happen with either your 8 centimeter or your 10 centimeter bandage. But please put the figure 8 in so that you can bend your elbow. Now we will take our 10 centimeter short stretch bandage, and we're going to start a little bit below where our 8-inch ended. And that may be more towards the wrist or the forearm, depending on the tension. Again, applying tension as you pull the tape up and down the sides of the arm. We proceed with using the 10 centimeter bandage to continue wrapping up the upper arm as much as possible, making sure to cover evenly from the bottom to the top. Cover the entire arm with moderate tension and circular turns. If additional tension is needed or additional compression is needed, you can achieve this by applying another 10 centimeter short stretch bandage on the extremity. Make sure that the finished bandage decreases in pressure from hand to the upper arm. The more you self-bandage, the easier it will become. When you have reached the end of your bandage up at the armpit, you're going to take your masking tape to secure the bandage. And take the excess stockinette and roll or fold down over the taping. Now you want to make sure that you can open and close your hands, moving the fingers, making sure that there are no purple or discolored fingertips. You want to move the wrist and the elbow to allow the bandages to move. And now you are ready to start your day. You should be able to eat, pick up things, and move that arm with little resistance, although you may be feeling the effects of the compression. The finished bandage should decrease in pressure from hand to upper arm. Thank you so much for joining us. Please see a special lymphedema therapist for more information.